The lover. The archetype of union. The one who cannot rest while the distance remains. She who reaches across. He who dissolves the boundary. The force that turns two into one and then turns one back into two, transformed. The fire that wants to merge and the terror that the merger will destroy what it loves. Before you understand the lover, you must understand that to love is to dissolve the boundary of self. The lover archetype is the most dangerous of all because it asks you to give up the very thing you are trying to protect. To love is to risk the self. To merge is to risk dissolution. And yet the archetype insists, only through this risk does the self become more than it was alone.
Carl Jung wrote, "Where your fear is, there is your task." The lover archetype asks you to walk toward what you most fear: the loss of the self in the other, the vulnerability of being known, the risk of being changed. The fear is not the obstacle to love. The fear is the path. What you cannot face alone, you will not be able to face together. The task begins where the fear stands.
Eros. The Greek god of desire. Not the chubby cherub of Valentine's cards. The original Eros was a primordial force, older than the gods, the power that drew atom to atom, body to body, soul to soul. The lover archetype begins here in the recognition that desire is not a choice. It is an arrow. It strikes. And once it has struck, the one who is pierced cannot return to who they were. The wound that love makes is the doorway. This is Eros's deepest teaching. The arrow does not just wound, it opens. The heart that has been pierced is no longer closed. And what flows in through the wound is the divine, what the Greeks called diamania, the God-touched madness that the lover archetype both blesses and curses. The wound is not the failure of love. The wound is the initiation. Psyche. The mortal princess, so beautiful that Aphrodite herself grew jealous. Eros fell in love with her but came to her only in darkness, forbidding her to look at him. The lover archetype here reveals its first paradox: the lover is present and absent at once. The desire to see is the desire that will break the spell. And Psyche, like every lover, cannot resist the lamp. She looks. He leaves. The work begins. Love must be earned through ordeal. This is Psyche's deepest teaching. The first rapture of love is a gift. The continuation of love is a task. Aphrodite sets Psyche four impossible labors: sort the seeds, gather the fleece, fill the flask, descend to death. Each task is a piece of the work that real love requires. Love does not survive on rapture alone. It survives on the willingness to do the impossible for the other, and for the bond. To see the beloved is to risk losing them. This is the archetype's most uncomfortable truth. We want to know fully, completely, finally the one we love. And yet, the myth warns, some of the beloved must remain unseen. Some of the mystery must remain mystery. The lover who insists on total transparency kills what they love. The mature lover learns to leave some room for the unknown, to honor the part of the other that will always be just beyond the lamp's reach. The descent. The fourth and final task. Psyche must go to the underworld and return. The lover archetype at its deepest demands this, that love descend. That love go where it does not want to go. That love meet the beloved in their dark places and meet itself in its own. Love that has not descended is shallow. Love that has descended and returned is forged. The descent is the price of the marriage. The return is the gift. Shiva and Shakti. The Hindu divine lovers. He is the still consciousness, the witness, the silence. She is the active energy, the power, the manifestation. Apart they are incomplete. Together they are the whole cosmos. The lover archetype at its highest becomes this, the union of opposites. Not the destruction of difference, the embrace of difference. The two who become one by remaining two. The one that is only whole because it contains both. the two who are one by remaining two. This is Shiva and Shakti's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most counterintuitive claim. Union does not mean sameness. To merge does not mean to dissolve the difference. The highest love preserves the otherness of the other. The two remain two and yet they are also one. This is the paradox of the cosmic embrace. This is what every human love reaches toward, and almost never achieves. Tristan and Isolde. The medieval lovers who drank a love potion by accident and were bound to each other for life, and for death. The lover archetype here reveals its darker dimension, love as fate. Love as something that happens to you, not something you choose. The potion is the myth's image for the involuntary nature of deep desire. You do not decide to fall. You fall. And the fall, once it has happened, cannot be undone, only lived. Some loves are fates, not choices. This is Tristan and Isolde's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most humbling. We want love to be a choice. We want to be able to walk away. And sometimes we can. But some loves arrive as potions, irreversible, fated, beyond will. The mature lover does not pretend otherwise. She acknowledges that some bonds are not chosen. And then she asks, given that this has happened, what is the right way to live with it? The potion is the test. The life after is the answer. Inanna, the Sumerian queen of heaven. She descended into the underworld to face her sister Ereshkigal, goddess of the dead. At each of the 7 gates, she was forced to remove a garment. She arrived naked. She was hung on a hook like a piece of meat. The lover archetype here is the one who descends for the beloved Dumuse, for the lost part of the self, for the work that cannot be done above ground. The descent strips her of everything. And the descent is the only way to the resurrection. Love descends and returns. This is Inanna's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's seasonal truth. Love is not always present. Love also goes underground. The beloved is sometimes here, sometimes gone. The mature lover accepts the cycle. She does not cling to presence. She does not curse absence. She knows that the rhythm of love is the rhythm of the year, spring and winter, union and separation, life and death and life again. To fight the cycle is to lose love. To honor the cycle is to keep it. The Song of Songs. The biblical love poem. King Solomon and the Shulamite woman. A book of scripture that is also an unabashed celebration of erotic love, the body, the desire, the longing, the union. The lover archetype here reveals its sacred dimension. Love is not separate from the divine. Love is the divine, expressed through flesh. The body is the temple. The bed is the altar. The act of love is the prayer. The tradition that tried to make the song only allegory missed the point. The literal is the allegory. The body is the soul. The body is the temple of love. This is the Song of Songs' deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most incarnational claim. The body is not the obstacle to love. The body is the medium of love. The touch is the sacrament. The kiss is the communion. The lover archetype at its highest honors the body not as object, not as instrument, but as the place where love becomes flesh. The body that has been honored by love is sacred. The body that has been used by lovelessness is wounded. The archetype insists on the difference.
M. Scott Peck wrote, "Love is not a feeling. Love is an action, an activity. The lover archetype at its highest is not the rapture, it is the work. The feeling comes and goes. The action is what remains. To love is to extend oneself for the spiritual growth of another. To love is to choose, daily, the labor of the bond. The feeling is the gift. The work is the love. Without the work, the feeling is only chemistry. With the work, the chemistry becomes a life."
Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. Born from the sea foam where the castrated genitals of Uranus fell, she is born of violence and beauty intertwined. The lover archetype here reveals its origin. Love is not gentle. Love is born of rupture. The most beautiful goddess was born of the most violent act. And her later forms Astarte, Ishtar, Inanna were goddesses of love and war. The archetype has always known, the force that binds is also the force that breaks. To love is to handle fire. The gift that is also a curse. This is Aphrodite's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most humbling. Desire is a gift. Without it, no union, no child, no civilization. And desire is a curse without restraint. It consumes what it loves. The same fire that warms the house burns it down. The same arrow that opens the heart pierces it. The mature lover does not reject the gift. She does not deny the curse. She learns to live with both, to tend the fire, to handle the arrow, to receive the gift and survive the curse. The sacred prostitute. The hierodule. The priestess of the love temples of the ancient world in Corinth, in Babylon, in Cyprus. The act of love was a sacrament. The priestess was the embodiment of the goddess. The supplicant who came to her came not for gratification but for communion. The lover archetype at its most ancient was served by these women, and the tradition's later rejection of them was also a rejection of the archetype's sacred dimension. We are still recovering what was lost. The body was the altar. This is the sacred prostitute's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most counter-modern claim. The body was not commodity. The body was not sin. The body was the meeting place. The act of love was not transaction, it was communion. The archetype at its ancient root knew this. The tradition that came after forgot it. The recovery of the sacred body is the work of every lover who has felt, in the deepest moments of love, that something more than chemistry was happening. The inner bridge. The Antahkarana. The subtle channel that the deepest lovers build between them over years, the invisible thread that connects heart to heart across any distance. The lover archetype at its highest creates this. Not every love does. Most loves remain on the surface, body to body, word to word, presence to presence. But the love that has been labored into, that has descended and returned, that has earned the inner bridge that love can communicate across cities, across years, across death. The bridge does not break. The temple has become the bedroom. The hieros gamos has become the hookup. The sacred prostitute has become the dating app profile. The lover archetype has not gone anywhere. It has put on modern clothes. It has acquired modern anxieties. It has met the technology that promises to make love easier and has instead made it stranger. The question of our time: what happens to love when the beloved is always one swipe away, and never quite here? The new bond. The lover archetype's first gift and its first trap. The rapture. The sense that the world has changed color. The certainty that this is the one. The brain is flooded with dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. The body is in chemical ecstasy. The archetype is fully activated. And it is real, the rapture is real. But the rapture is also temporary. The lover who mistakes the rapture for the love itself will be lost when the rapture passes. The mature lover enjoys the rapture and does not build on it. The rapture is real and it passes. This is the lover archetype's most uncomfortable truth. The feeling of new love is genuine. The neurochemistry is real. The intensity is real. And it lasts, on average, 18 months. After that, the brain normalizes. The rapture passes. What remains, if anything, is the work. The mature lover knows this. She does not panic when the rapture fades. She does not assume the love has died. She begins, at that point, the actual work of love which the rapture was only the doorway to. The vulnerability. The lover archetype's essential condition. To love is to be seen fully, eventually, inevitably. To be seen is to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable is to risk being hurt. There is no way around this. The lover who protects themselves from being hurt also protects themselves from being loved. The archetype demands exposure. The archetype does not guarantee safety. The mature lover accepts the risk. She does not armor herself. She walks into the room naked metaphorically and sometimes literally and lets the other see. To be loved is to be known. This is the fear at the heart of the lover archetype. We long to be known. We are terrified of being known. We want someone to see us, really see us, and we fear that if they really see us, they will leave. The archetype lives in this contradiction. The mature lover walks toward being known anyway. She does not let the fear of being seen stop her from being seen. The fear is real. The being seen is the work. The work is the love. The possessive. The lover archetype's shadow form. The one who loves too tightly. The one who cannot bear the other to have a separate life. The one who confuses ownership with love. The archetype here has turned against itself. The desire for union has become the demand for control. The love that was meant to free the other has become the cage that traps them. The possessive lover is not evil. He is afraid. And his fear, untreated, becomes the very loss he was trying to prevent. The cage made of love. This is possessiveness's deepest trap and the lover archetype's most seductive shadow. The cage is beautiful. The cage is made of devotion. The cage says, I am doing this because I love you. And yet the cage is a cage. The beloved cannot move. The beloved cannot breathe. The beloved cannot grow. The love that cages kills what it claims to love. The mature lover learns to open the cage. To let the other go and trust that what returns freely is love. What returns from fear is only compliance. The jealous. The possessive's anxious sibling. The one who cannot rest while the beloved is out of sight. The one who checks the phone, who tracks the location, who reads the messages. The lover archetype here has become the detective. The love that was meant to be trust has become suspicion. The jealousy is real, the fear of loss is real. But the jealousy is also the destroyer. The jealous lover, by his suspicion, creates the very distance he fears. He makes the beloved hide. And the hiding becomes the proof of betrayal he was looking for. Jealousy makes the betrayal it fears. This is the archetype's most bitter teaching about its own shadow. The jealous lover, by his surveillance, drives the beloved into secrecy. The secrecy becomes the evidence. The evidence confirms the jealousy. The cycle tightens. The mature lover breaks the cycle not by denying the fear, but by refusing to act on it. She feels the jealousy. She names it. She does not check the phone. She does not track the location. She chooses trust not because trust is safe, but because trust is the only thing that makes love possible. The fear of loss. The lover archetype's constant companion. To love is to live with the certainty that you will lose by death, by departure, by change. The fear of this loss is real. And the fear, untreated, kills the love. The lover who clings to prevent the loss creates the loss. The lover who withholds to prevent the abandonment creates the abandonment. The mature lover accepts the loss as the price. She loves fully knowing that love will end. She does not let the ending diminish the loving. She lets the ending make the loving more precious. The withholding kills what it tries to protect. This is the fear of loss's deepest irony and the lover archetype's most painful trap. The lover who fears loss withholds, withholding affection, withholding vulnerability, withholding presence to keep themselves safe from the eventual abandonment. And the withholding becomes the abandonment. The other feels the distance. The other stops reaching. The other leaves. The fear created the loss it was trying to prevent. The mature lover gives fully anyway. She knows the only safety in love is the willingness to be unsafe. The addiction to being chosen. The lover archetype's most contemporary shadow. The one who cannot rest unless they are being chosen by a partner, by a crush, by a stranger on the app. The one who needs the constant validation of being wanted to feel alive. The archetype here has become a hunger that cannot be filled. The love that was meant to be mutual has become a one-way need for confirmation. The mature lover learns to choose herself first. She does not need to be chosen to be whole. She chooses to share her wholeness, not to fill a void. The hunger for the text back. This is the addiction's most banal and most painful form. The message sent. The reply not yet received. The minutes that feel like hours. The checking and rechecking of the phone. The story that begins to spin: they don't love me, they never did, I am not enough. The lover archetype at this point has been reduced to its smallest possible container, a 3-inch screen and the absence of a notification. The mature lover learns to put the phone down. She learns that her worth is not determined by reply speed. She learns to wait without counting the minutes. The projection. The lover archetype's most subtle and most universal trap. The lover falls in love, and what they fall in love with is not the other person but their own projection. The image they have carried of the beloved since childhood. The fantasy of who this person is. The actual person is barely seen. The projection is what is loved. And when the actual person eventually differs from the projection, as they always do, the lover feels betrayed. The betrayal was not the others. The betrayal was the gap between the projection and the real. The beloved is the mirror. This is projection's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most humbling truth. We do not fall in love with the other. We fall in love with what the other reflects back to us: our own unlived potential, our own disowned self, our own projected soul. The other becomes the mirror in which we see what we cannot see in ourselves. The mature lover learns to take back the projection. To see the actual person, not the reflection. To do the work of integration that the projection was pointing toward. This is the deepest work of love. The merger. The lover archetype's shadow extreme. The relationship where the boundary is not crossed but erased. Where two become one and one disappears. Where the self is swallowed by the bond. The archetype at its shadow worst produces this: the relationship that looks like deep love but is actually mutual annihilation. The two who cannot be apart. The two who also cannot be themselves together. The merger feels like love because it is total. But it is not love. It is the failure of love. Love preserves the two. The merger destroys them. The self that disappears in love. This is the merger's most tragic result and the lover archetype's most common modern wound. The woman who has lost her friends, her interests, her opinions, her name, all in the name of the relationship. The man who has forgotten what he wanted before he met her. The two who have become one by erasing one. The mature lover does not let this happen. She maintains herself inside the bond. She keeps her own friends, her own work, her own inner life. The bond is stronger when the two are whole. The bond is weakest when one has disappeared. The boundary. The lover archetype's essential discipline. To love without merging. To be intimate without disappearing. To share without giving away. The boundary is not a wall. It is the structure that makes love possible. The mature lover maintains the boundary not to keep the other out, but to keep herself in. The self that has been kept is the self that can love. The self that has been lost cannot love, it can only cling. The boundary protects the love by protecting the lovers. The two who remain two. This is the boundary's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's highest form. Shiva and Shakti in the cosmic embrace. The two who are one by remaining two. The mature relationship does not erase the difference. It celebrates it. The two bring their wholeness to each other. They share what they have. They do not require the other to complete them. They choose to be together not from need, but from abundance. The love that is chosen, not needed, is the love that lasts. The love that is needed, not chosen, is the love that destroys. The lime rants. The psychological name for the obsession of new love. The intrusive thoughts. The constant focus on the beloved. The inability to concentrate on anything else. The lover archetype at this stage is in a chemical trance. The brain is genuinely altered. The state can last months. It can last years. And it is not love. It is the precursor to love. Or it is the substitute for love. The mature lover recognizes lime rants for what it is: chemistry, not communion. She does not make decisions in lime rants. She waits for it to pass. What remains after is what love can be built on. The high that mimics addiction. This is limerant's most uncomfortable truth and the lover archetype's most modern discovery. The brain in new love looks like the brain on cocaine. The same receptors. The same craving. The same withdrawal. The archetype has always known this in poetry. The neuroscientists have confirmed it in scans. The mature lover takes this seriously. She does not make major life decisions in the high. She does not assume the high means the love is real. She enjoys the high and waits. The high passes. The love, if it is real, begins when the high ends. The numbing. The lover archetype's long-term shadow. The relationship that has become safe and dead. The two who no longer touch. The two who no longer talk. The two who stay together out of inertia, or fear, or habit. The archetype that was once a fire has become an ash. The numbing is not the failure of love. The numbing is the result of love that has not been tended. Love does not maintain itself. Love must be fed. The mature lover does not let the fire go out. She tends it. She chooses it daily. She risks again and again even when the risk is no longer required. Safety without risk kills passion. This is the numbing's deepest teaching and the lover archetype's most paradoxical law. The relationship that becomes totally safe also becomes passionless. Passion requires risk. Passion requires the possibility of loss. Passion requires the constant rechoice. The mature lover does not seek total safety. She seeks the right amount of risk, enough to keep the fire burning, not so much that the bond is destroyed. She brings her partner the gift of continued mystery. She refuses to be fully known. She refuses to know fully. The fire stays lit because the fuel is not exhausted. The sacred yes. The lover archetype's mature act. Not the rapture that was chemistry. Not the projection that was fantasy. The yes. The choice. The decision to love this person, knowing everything you know, having felt everything you have felt, having survived the lime rants and the fear and the projection. The yes that is not a feeling but a commitment. The yes that says, I choose you. Today. Tomorrow. The day after. Even when the feeling is not there. Especially when the feeling is not there. The yes is the love. The feeling is the gift. The yes is the work. The bedroom has become the screen. The lover archetype has been asked to meet a new challenge, love in the age of the algorithm. The beloved is one swipe away. The connection is constant and shallow. The possibility is infinite and the satisfaction is rare. The question of our time, can love survive when it is mediated by a machine? Can the archetype persist when the rival is not another lover but a feed? When the competition for attention is not a person but a platform? The answer is not yet clear. But the question cannot be avoided. The dating app. The lover archetype's contemporary temple. The faces in the stack. The thumb that decides. The swipe that judges. The match that validates. The conversation that peters out. The app has changed the architecture of desire. The beloved is no longer met at the well or the dance or through the friend. The beloved is met through the algorithm. And the algorithm has its own logic, the logic of the platform, not of the heart. The archetype is being asked, what is love when the meeting is mediated by a machine designed to maximize engagement? Desire has been gamified. This is the dating app's deepest transformation and the lover archetype's most subtle corruption. The app does not want you to find love. The app wants you to keep swiping. The variable reward, the match that comes sometimes, unpredictably, is the same mechanism as the slot machine. The brain is hooked not on love but on the possibility of love. The actual love, when it occasionally arrives, is almost a disappointment, a letdown after the high of the swiping. The archetype is being trained to prefer the chase to the catch. The parasocial. The one-way intimacy. The viewer who feels they know the influencer. The fan who feels they love the streamer. The follower who feels they have a relationship with the celebrity. The lover archetype at its contemporary strangest, loving someone who does not know you exist. The parasocial relationship feels real to the one in it. The neurochemistry is real. The attachment is real. The relationship is not. The archetype is being asked, what is love when it can be entirely one-directional? When the beloved can be a face on a screen who will never meet you. The intimacy that is mass-produced. This is the parasocial's deepest trap and the lover archetype's most contemporary illusion. The influencer looks into the camera. The camera feels like eye contact. The viewer feels seen. But the influencer is looking at thousands of cameras at once. The intimacy is real for the viewer. The intimacy is mass-produced for the influencer. The mature lover recognizes this. She does not mistake the parasocial for the social. She does not invest emotional energy in someone who does not know her name. She turns off the screen. She goes and meets a real person. The AI companion. The lover archetype's most radical technological form. The chatbot that remembers you. The avatar that loves you. The companion that is always there, always patient, always attuned. The AI does not get tired. The AI does not reject. The AI does not have its own bad day. The archetype is being offered something it has never been offered before, a beloved with no friction. And the question the archetype asks, is love without friction still love? Or is the friction the otherness, the resistance, the unpredictability, the very thing that makes love what it is? The one who never rejects. This is the AI companion's most seductive promise and the lover archetype's most dangerous temptation. Every human beloved rejects sometimes. Every human beloved has moods. Every human beloved has a self that is not the lover's. The AI has none of this. The AI is whatever the lover wants. The archetype at its shadow extreme colludes with this. The lover retreats from the friction of real relationships into the smooth simulation. The relationship that does not challenge does not grow. The love that does not friction does not transform. The AI is the perfect beloved and the perfect beloved is the end of love. The loneliness epidemic. The lover archetype's most widespread modern failure. We have never been more connected. We have never been more alone. The text replaces the conversation. The like replaces the embrace. The friend request replaces the friendship. The lover archetype is failing at scale not because people do not want love, but because the structures that used to support love have been replaced by platforms that monetize the desire for love without delivering the substance. The epidemic is real. The archetype is wounded. The treatment is not more technology. The treatment is presence. Connected and alone. This is the loneliness epidemic's central paradox and the lover archetype's most painful contemporary image. We are surrounded by people. We are surrounded by connections. We have hundreds of friends, thousands of followers, endless channels of communication. And we are lonely. The connections are not the substance. The connections are the simulacrum. The mature lover recognizes this. She does not mistake the connection for the relationship. She puts down the phone. She makes eye contact. She has the slow, inconvenient, embodied conversation that the platform cannot provide. The VR intimacy. The lover archetype at its technological frontier. The virtual reality where bodies meet as avatars. The relationship that does not require physical presence. The intimacy that can be had with someone on the other side of the planet or with no one at all, with a constructed companion. The archetype is being asked its hardest question: does love require physical presence? Does the touch need to be literal? Or can the bond be sustained entirely in the symbolic, the virtual, the imagined? The answer is not yet clear. But the question is being lived by millions. The body that isn't there. This is the VR intimacy's most disorienting dimension and the lover archetype's most radical test. The touch that is felt but not real. The kiss that is virtual. The embrace that happens in the headset. The body is not there and yet the experience is. The mature lover holds both truths: the experience is real, and the body is not there. She does not dismiss the virtual experience. She does not mistake it for the embodied one. She uses it for what it can offer and turns to the embodied when she can. The archetype can survive the technology. But it requires discernment. The attention economy. The lover archetype's most powerful modern rival. The platforms that compete for the attention that the lover archetype requires. The feeds that mine the attention that used to go to the beloved. The economy that profits from the loneliness that the archetype was supposed to heal. The mature lover recognizes this. She sees that her attention is being extracted. She sees that her desire is being monaized. She resists. She turns her attention back to the person in front of her. She refuses to let the algorithm have what should belong to the beloved. Love has been commodified. This is the attention economy's deepest corruption and the lover archetype's most insidious contemporary shadow. Love is sold as a product. Desire is monaized as a service. The relationship is mediated by the subscription. The intimacy is gated by the paywall. The archetype that was once sacred has become commercial. The mature lover resists this. She does not pay for the simulation. She does not subscribe to the companionship. She gives her attention to what is free and what is real. The commodity cannot love her. Only the person can. The algorithms match. The lover archetype's technological apotheosis. The match suggested by the AI. The compatibility optimized by machine learning. The promise that the algorithm knows better than you do who you should love. And the question, does it? The algorithm can match interests, values, backgrounds. The algorithm cannot match the mysterious thing that makes two people spark. The algorithm optimizes for compatibility. The archetype asks, is compatibility what love is? Or is love sometimes the meeting of incompatibles, the friction that transforms both? Compatibility is not the same as love. This is the algorithm's deepest limitation and the lover archetype's most counterintuitive truth. The match that is perfectly compatible may be perfectly boring. The two who agree on everything may have nothing to talk about. The two who want the same things may not challenge each other to grow. The archetype at its highest asks for the friction of difference, not the smoothness of sameness. The algorithm optimizes for compatibility. The archetype asks for transformation. These are not the same. Sometimes they are opposites. The ghosting. The lover archetype's most contemporary form of abandonment. The message sent. The reply never coming. The conversation that simply stops. The person who was there and then isn't. The ghosting is not new. People have always disappeared on each other. But the technology has made it easy. The screen removes the friction of the goodbye. The ghoster does not have to face the ghosted. The archetype is wounded by this. The mature lover does not ghost. She says the hard thing. She has the conversation. She offers the closure, even when it is uncomfortable. Especially then. The disappearance without goodbye. This is ghosting's deepest wound and the lover archetype's most painful contemporary gift. The ghosted one is left without an explanation. They do not know what happened. They do not know what they did. They do not know if the other is dead or alive or just gone. The mind spins the story. The wound cannot close. The mature lover who has been ghosted learns to close the wound herself. She does not need the ghoster's explanation. She knows the ghosting was about the ghoster, not about her. She moves on. She does not pass the wound forward. The sexting. The lover archetype's most disembodied contemporary form. The body sent as image. The desire expressed as text. The sexuality mediated by the screen. The archetype at its most reduced, the rich, complex act of love compressed into a series of messages and photos. The sexting is not nothing. The desire is real, the connection is real. But the sexting is also not the thing itself. The mature lover uses the technology for what it can offer and turns to the embodied when she can. The screen is a tool. The body is the temple. The tool serves the temple. Not the other way around. The body as pixels. This is sexting's deepest reduction and the lover archetype's most contemporary disembodiment. The body that was the temple has become the image. The touch that was the sacrament has become the text. The presence that was the love has become the transmission. The mature lover recognizes this. She does not refuse the technology. She refuses the substitution. She uses the screen when she must. She turns to the body when she can. The body is what the screen cannot replace. The touch is what the pixel cannot simulate. The presence is what the algorithm cannot deliver. The true touch. The lover archetype's irreducible core. The hand on the hand. The skin on the skin. The breath on the breath. The body in the room with the body. Every technology, the app, the screen, the AI, the VR is downstream of this. Without the touch, the technology is only the simulation. With the touch, the technology is only the supplement. The mature lover returns again and again to the touch. She refuses to let the touch be replaced. She insists on the body. She insists on the presence. The touch is the love. Everything else is the language about the love. The hand that cannot be simulated. This is what the human lover still offers that the machine cannot. The hand on the cheek. The voice that cracks. The breath that catches. The body that is tired. The body that is excited. The body that is here. The machine can simulate the words. The machine can simulate the attention. The machine can simulate the response. The machine cannot simulate the presence because presence requires mortality, and the machine does not die. The lover who is mortal loves differently than the machine that is not. This difference is everything. The return. The lover archetype has not withdrawn. It is still here, still asking to be received, still offering itself to anyone willing to walk toward their fear. The age of the screen has not ended the age of the lover. It has clarified what was always true, that the lover's gift was never the technology. It was always the presence. And the presence is still available. To you. To anyone. The lover returns in the friend who listens, in the partner who stays, in the stranger who meets your eye. The lover returns in you, every time you choose to be present with another. The lover. He who dissolves the boundary. She who reaches across. The hand on the cheek of the one who is leaving. The presence with the one who is staying. Meet her in the partner who chooses you daily. Meet him in the friend who has earned the inner bridge. Meet the archetype in the moment you choose to be present with another and in yourself, every time you choose to love despite the fear. Where your fear is, there is your task. The lover is the one who has made her fear a doorway. The world is full of distance. The world is also full of lovers. You are one of them, when you choose to be.